Greetings, sir and sirettes, and welcome back to From the Depths with me, Lathrix. In today's episode, we're going to be doing two things. First of all, we're going to be fighting the ickle against a more favourable opponent, as many of you have asked me to do this, and I am more than willing to accept my fate and possibly be embarrassed by fighting something of more equal stature than the Pseudomonas. We're going to be putting the ickle against the Thunderbird in a hot one-on-one action. I've made sure to get far enough away that the Thunderbird is not hampered, as of course the Thunderbird does have a quite big turning circle, even though it's small for its size, but still pretty big, and it does have very long range weaponry, whereas the ickle has shorter range weaponry, meaning that if I put the Thunderbird too close, it would definitely favour the ickle, and I don't want to be unfair. So this is definitely a very long distance, and we're also going to be spawning it in the air, again, for sake of fairness. After this, which will probably take about 5 minutes, we're going to be building a new ship. Today we're going to be building my starter ship. Now, the limits I'm putting on myself is no more than 10,000 of any resource. Most likely, this ship will be made out of whatever fortress we actually get in the development build. I have purposely not looked at the dev build yet, as I want it to be more of a surprise experience. So, let's get going with the battle. So let's just load vehicle, the Thunderbird Corruption, which is literally just the Thunderbird renamed. We're going to be putting it on the Deepwater Guard side, and let battle commence. Oh crap, I need to turn on the ickle's AI. Well, that did give the Thunderbird a few seconds. I've turned it off because it kept on trying to move back to the centre. So we've changed it back to combat. Let's see how it does. Well, I'm not even looking at the ickle. I'm so nervous about those lasers, because they are such good lasers. The shots are missing, but that's because it's started to change course. I'm hoping perhaps the missiles will actually land and deal some damage. The Thunderbird is quite well shielded, so I'm not really holding out too much hope with the cannons. Anyway, my stamina is terrible today. There we go, landing some hits, and a lot of the missiles are being taken out by its laser defense system. However, multiple are actually landing. If they can hit the back and take out its thrusters, then it's going to be in a world of difficulty. So far, it seems like most of the guns are still firing. There we go. Oh, is it stopped? Or is it just going in slow motion? It's definitely going in slow motion because that was a huge explosion. But is the Thunderbird taken out? Is the Thunderbird successfully dead? Also, these missiles are not big enough. But still, which we'll actually be getting to very briefly. Thank you to the person who said I had forgot the failsafes. I had indeed forgot the failsafes on the local weapon controllers. That will stop this from happening. So I'll do that off camera. It essentially stops the smaller missiles from firing if it doesn't have a line of sight. Well, I think it's safe to say that with an 80,000 metal lead in terms of cost, but cheaper in other resources, the ickle is the victor by what looks to be quite a long shot. Well, that's clearly the end of that, so we can stop watching that. Make sure to turn off its attacking salvage, and let's have a look-see at how it's doing. First of all, hail of missiles, absolutely beautiful. How much damage did I sustain? Of course, we have been repairing for the last few seconds. I'm not currently on board, meaning that my character has not been healing this. And most of the damage has happened in the actual missile systems, which is a bit annoying. Is any area flooded? Nope. Nope. Yes. And nope. And nope. Okay. No damage at all inside, other than, again, the missile... Wait, no, that one's actually permanently like that, yep. Yeah, honestly, damage-wise, that didn't seem too bad. The definite victor is the ickle. So, at least we do have a ship that can take on our most feared opponent after it... Okay, you know what? You can attack the salvage. Go on. Fire away. I hate when the repair drones go back in their thing, it looks like an explosion. Because I thought an explosion was happening then. It just wasn't. Now that's beautiful. The fact they land in separate places just makes that so damn nice looking. There's the first volley, and of course they're all going to explode nearby. Also, a few people were asking me why do I have such weird missiles, and essentially, the idea is the proximity element of it sets it off a little bit early, and then it's just like it's a fragmentation missile that's extremely short in how far the explosion goes and how widespread the shots are is a word they're looking for, which I completely failed to get. So it's a very concentrated shot, so it does a lot of damage and actually can take out metal in one shot, which is lovely. As we just saw, I mean, look, it just goes through things. Which is a really good missile. I mean, even honestly though, even if regular explosive heads were better, and they may be, I'm not saying they're not, I just love the look of these things. It's just, I adore it. Why aren't these hitting the right place? What's wrong with you? Why are you dead? Oh no, you've just been fixed, okay. Well, that's that anyway, but I'm not aiming at anything anymore, it's not even counted as being there. Okay, so let's restart the designer, I'll probably be right back, and we'll start designing our new ship. We return. So, let's get this underway then. We need to be very mindful of our costs, and we're probably going to try for something very, very small. Probably using as much wood as possible as well, so wood and metal are probably going to be our main ingredients here. Let's build it with stone. No. Wood and metal. I didn't realise stone was actually the same weight as metal. Obviously, it's not nowhere near as good, and it costs way more raw material, but meh. I've never built a stone ship before, and I probably really shouldn't. Yeah, going to probably use metal quite a bit here, so that's 30 each. I wish there's an easier way to check how expensive your ship is without saving it and loading it, but I don't know if there is. So we'll just have to do that once we've started. So we are going to just use the starting rig here, just as a nice base. We're probably going to use quite a bit of wood as well, just because the wood is raw material, so we can have this as kind of a inside element, which is always a good thing. So let's just do this quickly. And here's why I don't tend to use beams, just because it is a little bit more difficult to figure out where beams will go. Obviously, if we spent more time, we could maximise our beam usage, but honestly, on such a small ship, lag really isn't going to be an issue, and I don't really mind about it being a little bit less than ultimately ideal. I want it a bit bigger than that, though. I was saying that I'm going to have metal on the outside, this is like an inside. I don't know why I built the inside segment first, honestly, but I just kind of did. The thing I'll do is I'll have beams down like that, and then that will become the element which will have an air pump, because I am going to be using air pumps even on such a small ship, because I do find them so much better than just building a buoyant raft of death. Also, metal, really, really nice to have on a starter vehicle, as you don't come across many enemies which can deal with it very well, which is ideal. There we go, and let's just pop that in. Oh, no, that's wrong. Okay, I'm going to fix that. Whoops. Well, that's a lot of metal. I was not looking the right way, and I pasted it downwards rather than this way, because I actually unclicked it. So, well, yeah, that's what I wanted to see, but not with this segment underneath. Be right back. Okay, try 2 was met with a much higher success. There we go. We've once again got this lovely segment here, which is a complete closed section, which means we can add the buoyancy already. I really should just let this thing float up to the air, as in, you know, there you go. If you press caps lock, you can essentially lift this thing above the water level and kind of hold it there. So this isn't just a floating trick. So I'll put down the air pump now, then let go again. Then that should make it buoyant, and ta-da, the thing floats. Fantastic. I will save this vehicle. Small virus, or small thing, small bacterium, a cyanobacteria? What kind of cyanobacteria? I don't know. I want to call it something cool. I can't think of a bacterium I want to use right this second. That's annoyed me now, and I'm just going to glare at this for a second while I'm thinking about it. I don't even know anymore. Cyno. Whatever, that's not even right. For now, we'll call it something better later, but for now we'll just call it Cyno, just so I've got a name for it. We'll name it by the end of the video, so that way, you see, though, I can check on here to see how much it costs. So right now, as it stands, we are already hitting the 18,000 metal. We've already went over our limit. That is ridiculous. Okay, that is way less than I thought we'd get. So we're going to upgrade our limits then to 20,000, just because I can't have something that small for a starter vehicle. It's just, I would wait until it's functional, and that's just not functional. So we're going to have to change some things into wood then. So 20,000 for each. So we could do some wood instead. I mean, that uses more metal as well, yeah. So, what should we replace? Some of the metal, I suppose, is more in the centre we could replace. So some of the beams here, if we change them to beams and then go for replace, click, 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 click. And each one of these, of course, saves us a nice chunk of money. How much is it now? If we save it again, save as Sino, load the Sino, and it is now costing me a glorious 16,000. Okay, so yeah, we're going to have to use wood more than I thought. That's fine. So the top section will be made out of wood, not out of metal. Wow, we are really buoyant. We're like stupidly buoyant at the moment, so that's good. Probably, again, just like before, we're going to separate the hull into two pieces, just because we are so reliant on the air pump. Just gonna use regular blocks here, just because it makes life easier on myself. And then we're going to get another air pump because the front now is about to sink, and shove that in there. There we go. Front is buoyant, back is buoyant. We're fine. Misc, and I want a standard door or two. So I like having two doors. I don't know why it's just two. And there we go. Two doors, okay. So once again, I do want to be able to actually get into the ship. So, how am I going to do the gun then? So, actually no, let's think. What kind of gun do I want? I don't want missiles on this. I don't want missiles on this. Although missiles are great, even earlier. We could do. I mean, we could have a very small missile turret. Ooh, that wouldn't be bad. That wouldn't actually be bad at all. We could have a missile turret on top of a small area for us to sit in. And then perhaps a really, really cheap cannon. No, because I'd have quite a lot of ammo. I think actually a missile turret wouldn't be bad early game, as I do find missiles are really good versus some of the smaller enemies, like the Vanguard and the Sea Vipers, as they just tend to get right. They just hit the target and instantly break something, and then it's game over from the first shot. But we have already been using missiles quite a lot, so I'm not sure. So let's just think about, instead of that, let's think about how we're going to add things to the ship. So what I'm thinking is, I honestly don't know. I honestly do not know. I don't really. I mean, we could go for the obvious and have a back kind of area here, which would then have the seating in, just like the E. coli, which then would allow us to go down. However, I don't really want that too much. We could do perhaps have the whole thing like it. Oops, Mr. Block there. Have a whole thing like this, carrying on, and then from that we could possibly have the weapon in the middle here, and have the entire thing revolving around its gun in the centre, which would then allow it to be a 360 turret a lot easier without us having to do things like manually change the angle of which you can fire. And actually, the more I say it, the more I actually want to do it. Okay, that's what we're going to go with. This is, again, just use wooden blocks on this because it makes it easier on myself. I know I shouldn't, but it just makes life easier. So, quickly shove this here, and here. And then perhaps make the armour too wide, because, well, it is just wood. However, wood is still a resource, and like I said before, I don't want to go over 20,000 of any, because we've changed our mind, because 10,000 is just too small. Okay, yeah, I mean, wood's... How much is wood? Yeah, I mean, these are only 40 each, so actually, these are... Wood is just so cheap to use. I think it'd be better having, yeah, too thick of this rather than trying to fit metal in. That's already pushed us down a bit as well into the water, which I'm actually quite glad about, because it was a bit too high before. Oh, why can't that just fit perfectly? And click, 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 and finally clicky, clicky, clicky. And wood beams, face them upwards, and these are going to be the areas. Nope. Sure, like support beams, why not? I kind of like the idea. And then we can actually put windows in between them, which will look really, really cool, in my opinion. Although then we'd have to use normal blocks because then we need spaces and yada yada. So perhaps no windows. Oh, that's really sad though. We need perhaps windows at the front then, okay? The front gets windows. Happy? Okay. Okay, Lathrix. Okay, save that. and loads it in. How much did it cost? It now cost. I'm sure there's an easier way to do this. I'm sorry that I'm being a bit obtuse with the way of doing it, but honestly, I don't know it yet, and I don't really want to look it up. Then it's this section which will actually house the gun, which may be a missile. I'm not sure just yet. That'll be one forward. Actually, I'm okay with that because I think that was kind of cool. It's like a little shade area. Okay. It's like a little area for us to stretch our legs. Ah, sweet. You know, I should start using slopes as well. I do understand that slopes reflect bullets. Well, have a chance, I should say, to reflect shots and such. I don't know, I just never end up using them. I really should do it. I will. I mean, look, originally I didn't use beams, did I? So and I eventually got into it. So trust me, eventually I will end up doing it. There we go. And let's put one here as well. Okay, and then we'll do the same on the sides, just have the slope down, and lock it into place like that, and go along like this. Yay! There we are. And then we'll have a door at the front, because I kind of want one. So, misc and standard door and plonk. Not that way round. And then let's do control, have a seat somewhere, let's put it on perhaps on the sides. Nah, let's put it straight there, why not? Put it straight there and then have the controller here. So the issue is, of course, we still haven't added the engine, we still haven't added the gun, and we're probably already a bit over our expense limits. No, I mean 4,000 metal. So we've got 4,000 metal to make a very simple turret, an engine, and very simple propulsion systems. I like this though, it looks like a floating house, and I'm actually okay with that. Like a chalet of some kind, for those who know what a chalet is. And what I'll do is I'll destroy these two. I know it's too thick, which really sucks. Actually, how much does glass cost? It's actually remarkably expensive, okay. Have it too thick, because that's really going to help us, by the way. Like, that's going to help us so much. That is going to be like, oh man, I mean, that extra panel of glass may save us from a single shot. Actually, no, it might do. That's the funny thing, it actually might. Because we're probably going to be against basic cannons. When we use this ship, we should only be against basic cannonry, so that might actually be okay. Now, the engine, I'm debating where to put it, because obviously this area does have more protection. It's protected by metal. This is the hull of the ship, so I think it really would make a lot more sense for the engine to go down here. Do you have much space for a prefab? Oh god, I haven't actually made my own engine in such a long time. I'm probably going to really screw this up and everyone's going to cry at me. Oh my lord, we have got no space. But it doesn't really matter, because we only need a really weak engine, so I apologise, I'm about to make one of the worst engines you've ever seen. So I do it. Oh yeah, you don't do it like that, do you? Because you can make it. Oh, we don't need even power though. We don't need a little bit. The cylinder attaches to the carburetor. The carburetor then attaches to the fuel tank, which then adds power to that. And then you can add everything else like the supercharger and the exhausts to the cylinders, and then you have to make it all symmetrical and everything. Oh lord, this is going to end really badly. Okay, be right back once I've actually made an engine, because no one wants to see me blundering. Again, it's been like at least a month since I've actually made an engine from scratch. Okay, a really simplistic engine here, filled with exhausts and superchargers and everything possible has been attached. It gives us 100 power. Not that good, but honestly in such a cramped space that's probably the best we're going to get. Also, I realise now I wasn't actually updating how much the Sino actually costs, so you need to press it again. So we actually have just over 2,000 metal still, which I think will be enough. At least I certainly hope it will just about be enough. So how much of these is 100 each, so this will take us to our limit most likely in terms of metal. Then we want the boat rudder, because we do want to control ourselves, and that's all I'm going to add for that. Again, this thing doesn't really have to move much, if at all. It just needs to be there and be able to fire. Okay, move forward. Well, we've actually got more engine power than we need if we do this. It turns quickly, and honestly, it handles really well because it's small. Look, I have windows. Look, Mum, I can see. A little bit heavier on the back now. That's okay. Do we want to add perhaps another propeller just because? I mean, it wouldn't hurt. Right, how much is a huge propeller? Okay, so huge propeller gives us 600 for 300. This gives us 30. So actually, this would be better. So it'd be better just having one of these then than having two of the little ones for its cost. However, I can't get that low, so I'm going to have to remove the rudder for now. Put this directly in the middle, and then have the boat. No, not the boat propeller. The boat rudder underneath instead, and that is significantly faster. And we won't actually flip when turning, though turning at full speed is a little bit harsh just because of how fast we're going. Okay, that's cool. Good enough. Good. I also realised I have nowhere to get below deck. Oh. Can you put doors on their side? I'm almost certain you can put a door on its side. Let's have a quick look, see if we actually can. Standard door. Can you put you on your side? You can. Wonderful. So we want it this way instead. And then we'd like it to be somewhere where I won't fall straight into the engine. Preferably. So perhaps back here somewhere. Like here. Make sure we don't delete something important. There we go, because these were blocks, because they were replaced, I remember. There we go, and click. Let's see, can I actually get in here then? Open. We fall in. And we're in. We can do all that stuff. I like being able to walk around in the ship. It's just nice. It makes it feel like it's actually been designed for a real, entity to be in here. Even if it is ended up being... this won't be AI controlled and it won't be a permanent ship. This is going to be a starter ship. It might end up being a permanent ship, but it won't end up being the main ship forever. So save the vehicle. Load it again. Look at our cost. And hopefully it's not too... Okay, we've got 1,800 to spend. So now... Oh, I've just realised ammo. Well, the ammo's going to go in the front here, isn't it? That's fairly obvious. Actually, there's a few things we didn't add, including resources, and we want a fuel processor. There. Next to a single fuel barrel, which will go there. How much did that cost? That cost 15, and let's have a look-see at you. You are a good... oh, you're cheap as hell. Okay, that's fine. Ammo barrels cost 30 each, so if we go with 10, that means we have 300. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Why don't we spread those out a little bit since we've got so many? That way there's more chance of them being hit, but there's less chance of them detonating each other, even if it's only a gap that big. Also, would rather have that water, the air pump a little bit further back, honestly. There we go. How much did the air pump cost? 60. Okay, so that's 300. Save vehicle again. Load vehicle, and now it should cost about... Not the E. coli, there we go. Oh, by the way, off camera, I've done quite a bit to the E. coli. I'm not showing you during this episode. It's now version 21. I've added an extra turret to it, which has added an extra 100,000 metal in addition to fixing some stuff. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep this version. I do actually have the other version backed up, so most likely I'll go back to the 500,000 version. Oh, a lot of you are asking me to put it on the workshop. I will as soon as I'm finished with it. From now on, in this series, I will be putting all the vehicles in the Steam Workshop as long as I'm able to my best ability. So we have 1,500 now to add a weapon to this construct, which is absolutely fine. And also, I am currently in the driver's seat, which means every time I press G, I'm moving this thing backwards. Let's go back to the back here. There we go. So, new object, and we want a 360 turret, and we want a precision turret, and we're going to put it... Doesn't have to be in the middle. In fact, I might actually consider putting it more at the back, because that way our vulnerable sections are different. That way the engine and the missile at the back, the ammo's at the front, therefore you shoot different things to hurt me. Less reliance on each area. So let's put it here. Now this does not need to be big. At all. In fact, I don't want it to be big. At all. So we're just using wood for now, just to give me a bit of a size reference. There we are. It's precision, so it shouldn't end up ramming into the ship, which is rather nice. and it's going to be missiles, the beautiful things. So, missiles slash torpedoes, missile controllers. Just want one. Just want one controller here. Yeah. Bit further back though? A bit further back. And we had more resource to spend when it comes to wood, so obviously that's what we're using right now. The raw materials, because a lot of the missile elements will of course be metal. Which is not that nice. What we could do then is have this lowered. So fill this section in here. Then lower this little block here. Lower that block. This block, and then have it there. So missile controllers. We want one here, and then we want the 6-way connectors. Are we going to go with 2 missiles? Not. We could go with just 2 missiles. Or we could go with 3. I think 3 will be enough for such a low level area, and that way we can perhaps use a bit more of an expensive missile, despite being so early on. So missile block, I'm going to go for 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I think we all know what kind of missiles I'm going to use. So short range thrusters, I want at least 3 fuel tanks. I want at least 2 thins. I want the 1 turn. I want the fragmentation. I'm going to use the... Okay, I'm not going to use the camera because I don't want to increase the size of this thing. I'm going to use an infrared seeker, which you've already got. Well done. I don't want the explosive warhead, so I want the proximity instead. And then I want fragment there. If I find the fragment, that'd be fantastic. I am blind. There it is. Fragment, and change the fragment to being a much lower cone. And apply to all. There we go. Fantastic. And let's test launch this thing. We are currently using it. So it's to spawn in a quick Sea Viper, which is over there. And let's just fire this thing. Probably need a bit of a delay on the shots, because that's not going to be as effective as if they fired one at a time. Still, went straight through the Sea Viper, and that's exactly what I wanted to see. Oh, that's really weird though, having it so back heavy, because when it turns it looks really jarring. Actually, that's really bad. Why have I done that? Need more front section. Even if it's okay, so let's first of all save it though. Save over this Sino. Oh yeah, we've actually got enough metal. We've actually got enough metal perhaps to use a few blocks in the defense of this thing. So, am I currently editing the? Yeah, good. I am actually editing the thing. Oof, I thought I was editing the wrong thing then. Just to armor up the very front here, and then we want armor on the top, just so it has less chance of destroying the sections. And then I really do want though, quite importantly, I do want a friend or foe. There's 2 things I want here. Missiles. Well, there we are. We want the identify friend or foe, and we want the staggered fire. And I want the staggered fire to actually be quite big, so about 4 or 5. There we go. And then that will just be filled with metal again. 1, 2. And then this will be filled with a few metal beams, because why not? I can actually do it easier. So there we are. And click. It's like a little pillbox. Okay, once again, save the vehicle. Load the vehicle. Let's have a quick look. See, the Sino is over the metal limit. Damn. I gave myself limits, and I know my limits, and thus this is going back to wood, because I definitely want the bottom section to be protected at all costs. So we're going to change the top section here back into wood. It's just weird because of how much the metal does cut. I mean, it stacks up so much more than wood, because wood is only 30 per block, 30 raw material, whereas the metal is 10 raw material, whereas the metal is 30 metal. So it's a different level for each, not just the type of item. There we are. Save vehicle again, and then once again load the vehicle, and it's now under the limit by just a little bit. Okay, so there's actually a couple more things I actually want for this vehicle. First of all, as you may guess, I want AI. So go back to the hull. At least on the weapons. I don't mind so much. Actually, no, I don't want it to be on the actual ship itself, but at least for the weapon, I do want it to be AI controlled. We will be making an AI controlled ship to go with this later, because I actually want a little fleet this time. I don't want it to be like this. I don't want it to be last time, where I essentially just had one huge ship. I just placed a wood block instead of an AI mainframe. Once again, me adding these things by accident. Okay, there we just have the 6-way connectors, have it up 1. Then we have the weapon controller. which is controlling it and already firing it. There we go. That delay did not seem as long as it should have been. Also, where the hell am I looking? Ah. Well, that delay doesn't exist. Okay, is that delay not actually attached to the right object? Edit spinner. Well, it's good I found out now, not later. What have I done wrong here? That's connected. Applies oh, I didn't save. Friend or foe, however, is not connected. That's the missile controller. Do not attach directly to them. Friend or foe, facing this way. Not connected. Connect to another missile block connectors on the missile controller. Well, this is the This here is the weapon controller. So surely that should be fine, and we'll put it here instead. That's fine. There we go. It's connected. Then we just have a metal block there. Doesn't really matter. You know what? We can have a stone block. Fine. The hidden stone block. The ammo runs out on this thing way too fast, but it's not actually too bad, honestly. Still firing. Yeah, that's fine. I don't mind that too much. So there you go. The AI is good. That was pretty easy, honestly. I don't really need anything else. Target prioritization would be nice, but it's not a needed thing. So load vehicle, and the Sino is now at. We've just about capped our metal. We can't do it. I don't really want to sacrifice anything else. I think for now this is the end result. This is going to be our first vehicle. Okay, I'm going to save the vehicle one last time. We're going to reset the designer, and then we're going to fight a Vanguard or two. A Vanguard and a Sea Viper at the same time. In the left corner, weighing less than 20,000 of any resource, we have the Sino, the initial ship of the Lathian Empire. In the east corner, we have the Deepwater Guard, Sea Viper and Vanguard. Whoopsie freaking daisy. Well, that's something that needs to change. Perhaps have the missiles a little bit higher. So it says one change I can do off camera, which will cause. No, don't attack that. Stop attacking salvage. That's so clearly already dead. Well, the Sea Viper's already fell. However, the Vanguard is shooting, and twice the missiles were set off by its own hull. 3 times the missiles were set off by its own hull. 4 times, 5 times, and we have an issue. Why do we have an issue? Yeah, that would be fixed very easily just by putting the missile a little bit higher. So that's what we'll do. That's actually almost no issue. We'll just we literally put those there, and then change that metal to wood and put wood there. That's not a huge issue. We can fix that afterwards. The fact is, though, it's dealing with the Vanguard. So let's just see how much damage this actually does. And it took out the wood there and actually did a bit of damage to its AI. Now if we can just stop shooting itself. In fact, what I could do, why don't I just turn the ship? Other way, other way. There we go, that'll stop it. And turn off. So I can actually leave it as it is because it's manual control to make sure it doesn't shoot directly forward. Because it shoots so low. Oh, the Vanguard is tipped. The Vanguard is tipped. It's official. I think now at this stage the missiles are hitting the turret. That one went straight through the turret and then through the hull. And we're actually ignoring it. It's now classed as salvage, as I do believe the AI has been destroyed. Yep, the AI has been destroyed and the new ship is victorious. However, some issues have been found, including the fact the missiles shoot way too low. Which I can fix later. So anyway, yeah, that'll fix myself, but I think this is going to be the end result fight for the Sino. First, actually no, yeah, I'll actually fix it now and I'll think of a good name for the ship. Okay, and we're back for the last time. I finally figured out a decent name for the ship. It is now known as the Tuberculosis. Yes, it does sound very evil and ominous considering I think most people know what TB is. It's a rather horrible disease to get, which isn't usually fatal, and that's kind of what I'm going with there. I think in 2008 or 2010, the last paper I read, I can't remember, it's down to between 3 and 4% in wealthy regions, so essentially the idea is, it used to be really deadly, and now it isn't. So we're kind of in the used to be section when we first start off. Oh, aren't I funny? Also, I don't think the cyanobacteria would have been a decent name for this thing, because essentially what a cyanobacteria is, a cyanobacterium, is it's a bacterium that can produce its own energy through sunlight, through light, and through other energy sources to the usual, which does of course mean that it's probably better suited for a resource gatherer, which we'll have later. Anyhow, I have fixed the missiles. They no longer get set off by doing this. There we go. Simply lowered the proximity fuse and moved the weapon a little bit higher than it used to be. Let's have a quick look and just fire forward, because why not? Looking straight down. With the one turn, that will go down a little bit, and as you saw, it didn't set off. I have actually tested it on a Sea Viper. Here's the remains to prove this, and it no longer gets set off by its own hull. I could of course have just moved the turret into the middle, but I prefer it as it is. So, regardless, this is our starter ship, the Tuberculosis. And with that is the end of the episode. Thank you so much everyone who has watched. If you have enjoyed this video, of course, likes, favourites, shares, comments, all that good stuff helps out me, helps out the channel, and ensures that From the Depths continues to be a series we see on the channel, because it shows that you actually like it, haha, and want to see more. So thank you for watching, have a lovely day, do take care, and until next time, toodle pip, from the Tuberculosis.